Hey guys, this is Richard from Bear Lemonade Stand, and I just wanted to make a quick video today to discuss something I get asked a lot, and I just wanted to help clarify it a little bit more. Pretty simple though, what is drop shipping? So we're going to go through what drop shipping is, kind of the pros and cons, and exactly how it works, and is it right for you? So drop shipping is both a sourcing and fulfillment business model where the retailer, which is you, never actually owns the inventory that you're selling. So instead, you're acting as a middleman that's selling goods on your own website, but instead of you shipping it when you receive an order, you're passing that order along to your dropshipping partner for them to pick, pack, and fulfill. So your profit is the difference between what you're charging your customers on your website and what the dropshipping company charges you. So how exactly does dropshipping work? So I created this little graph or flow chart to make it really simple, although it's already a pretty simple model. So the customer will come to your website and they'll purchase something from your store. What you'll do at that point is you'll be passing that order along to your dropshipping partner. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this, and really it kind of depends on your dropshipper and which method they prefer or which method they're kind of dealing with. So ideally, you want to have a direct integration with your dropshipper so that when the order comes into your website, it automatically gets fed to your dropshipper and you don't have to do anything. However, it's unlikely for a lot of dropshippers. A lot of them really haven't kind of kept up with the times and technology. And so a lot of times when you get an order, you're going to have to email that to the dropshipper. Of course, you can set up auto forwarders on your email to get that done kind of automatically, but there's going to be a bit of a manual process in there at some point. So from there, your dropshipper is going to pick, pack, and ship the products that your customer ordered. He's going to ship it directly to them. So they're usually, for most dropshippers, they're going to put your brand, your logo, your name on the packaging slips and invoices so that your customer is never really going to know that it came from a third party. They're not going to know that you never touched the product yourself. It's just going to look like it came from you and your company and your warehouse. So what are the advantages of dropshipping? So there's three main advantages to dropshipping, which we'll cover. So the first one, and one that everyone talks about a lot, is the low startup costs. So when you're starting a retail business in particular, your biggest costs are going to be the inventory. And depending on the type of business you're in, inventory can easily be 60, 70, or 80% of your startup costs, maybe even more. So by you never actually purchasing and owning the inventory, you're basically eliminating, 80% or more, maybe a little bit less of your startup costs, which makes it really, really easy to get up and running really quickly. So the other thing too is because you're not purchasing your inventory, you never really run the risk of not being able to sell that inventory and being stuck with it. So it's a really, really low risk business model. And then the third thing is streamlined sales. So what I mean by this is if you actually own your own inventory and you got to ship it out yourself, there's a lot of hassle that comes with shipping products yourself. Just the boxes and the storage of the boxes and packaging materials, and you got to print the labels, and you got to add the invoice and the packaging slip in there. And obviously, then you need to ship the product. So by you working with the drop shipping partner, you're eliminating, the whole operation of shipping products yourself, which saves you a lot of time that you can use to focus in on just, getting more traffic and converting that traffic and making more sales. So what are the disadvantages of drop shipping? Well, there's three big ones. The first one is high competition. So because drop shipping is a really low risk and a really easy business model to kind of jump into and get involved in, it means that there's a lot of people doing it. And so you really need to find a way to differentiate your business from everyone else out there. So, it might be adding more value somehow through content or something else. It might be better service. There's a lot of different ways you can differentiate yourself, but really you need to consider this right up front as soon as you start or before you start. Because if you just plan to just jump in there and start selling, TVs or something like that, you're competing against a million other guys, and they have deeper pockets. They can spend more on ads, so it's difficult. The other thing is low margins. So really, it really depends on the type of products you're selling and your drop shipper. However, a general rule of thumb is that you're going to be getting about 20% margin across the board. And so that means, if you're selling something on your website for $100, you're buying it from your drop shipper at about $80. So, that it makes it difficult to compete really because the low margins are so thin. That's the thing is using traditional channels like, Google AdWords and Facebook ads. It can be pretty difficult actually because there's always guys, like I said, with more money that are bigger than you, that have better margins. They might be buying their inventory, which, gives them better margins, or they might even be the manufacturer that's selling directly to the customer as well that you're trying to compete against. So, a manufacturer may have a couple 100%, markup, and you have just a very, very razor thin percentage compared to them. And so, they could always spend more on Google AdWords, much more than you ever can. Same thing with Facebook ads. So because of the low margins, you do got to think outside the box and how are you going to compete against these guys that have better margins, and something that you really need to think about. And then the other thing is low brand control. So because you're not actually owning the products yourself, you're not shipping the products yourself, you don't really control that whole experience. If your drop shipper packages products really poorly, a lot of them get broke, or maybe it's just a really poor presentation. You need to consider how that's going to reflect on the brand that you're trying to build, because you don't really have control over that whole side of the business basically. So is dropshipping right for you? Now, this is a really difficult question and not one that we could obviously answer in the video. It really depends. You need to consider what's important to you. If you're looking for margins, if you're looking to make, good money, big money, dropshipping's probably not the right business model for you. However, if you're looking to get started in e-commerce, or you're really risk adverse right now, maybe you don't have a lot of money for startup costs, dropshipping could be a great model for you to get started in. At the very least, because of the low startup costs, it allows you to kind of start exploring e-commerce, allows you to start, understanding how to drive traffic and get conversions. And, if you have dropship products and they start selling really well, down the road, you can always consider, well, maybe if I buy these products up front, I'll get better margins, or, maybe things go really well and you end up manufacturing that type of product yourself to get even better margins. So, it's a model that can lead into other opportunities, but it is something that you have to be kind of in the long haul for, because you're not going to immediately see a ton of profit coming from it, and it's not going to be a cash cow, at least probably for the first couple of years, and that's with working really hard at it. So. Really appreciate you guys listening today. You can check out more information at betterlemonadestand.com. I have lots of information, tools, and resources to help you figure out if dropshipping is the right business model for you, along with your other options. So thanks again for listening.